Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live Grand Prix review for the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. This part of the programme now, a new live format. We couldn't do it live previously due to the MotoGP race. Excuse me, race one, example, fogging the throat live. However, we can do it now live for race two. Megan Birch joins me as she's moved into a punditry role this weekend and was in the race as well at the end. And we're going to analyse now for you live what happened in that race. We're just seeing pictures in front of us, Megan, of Sebastian Vettel's day. I mean, both Aston Martin starting off with a fire in the pit lane.
Not the best way to start a day.
Absolutely. Had to be brought back out on the track, followed then also by a retirement late on with same brake failure. Bad day for Sebastian Vettel. But in all, it's been a really strange day today. It's been one of the strangest I've remembered. Technical failures all weekend long, graphical failures, and then actual big car failures with that red flag. Let's talk about the red flag first of all. Halfway throughout the race, it came at a time when Lewis Hamilton had just gone off at Tosa. But then the track was still drying out. Russell versus Bottas. We've heard both of them speak in the post-show as well, saying how Russell thinks that it was more Bottas's fault. Bottas thinks it was Russell's fault. They can have a conversation with it, but later on. How did you see that?
I think they could go at this all day.
Yeah, they probably could, to be fair.
I mean, I think it's slightly both their fault. I think it's more Russell's fault because he is the one who turned into Bottas. And I know I heard him say they thought he was doing... he didn't think he was near him, though he obviously was. So even if it was accidental, it is Russell's fault.
He got on the damp part of the track going down towards Tamburello. And as I said as well, it was a bit weird that the last big crash we had there nearly 30 years ago was Ayrton Senna's big accident. And then once again, a Williams went into the wall at the same point as well. And it just sort of sprung to mind the fact that the driver safety's come on an awful lot. And heaven knows, 30 years ago, that would probably be a fatality.
Yeah, I mean, like, if there wasn't a halo there.
Absolutely,
You've
yeah.
also got to think, what happens if in Senna's day there was a halo? Would he still be alive?
Yeah, well,
Would even Ratzenberger still be alive?
The steering arm column and the suspension coming up into the cockpit of Senna, would that have actually happened if the halo was there? That's a question as well for another day. But let's just sum up as well. Our top three look nice below us. Now that we've figured out how to use the chroma key on the OBS software. Max Verstappen taking victory from Lewis Hamilton, from Lando Norris. An 11th victory there for Max Verstappen in his Formula One career, and a crucial one as well because it's game on in the championship, finally.
I mean, there's only a 1 point difference, and that could basically change the dynamic of things next race. Because
Portugal, yeah.
Like, one of them could crash out.
Yeah,
then
easily.
They won't even be in the championship top two.
Yeah, and we nearly had that with Hamilton today, making that mistake down at Tosa. He said during the red flag to Bono as well, and the cameras overheard it, I think I've just let the championship lead go. And, you know, as well, it's psychological for Lewis, thinking the fact that if he does let it go, you've got to claw back at it.
Yeah, like he did a couple of years ago with Vettel.
And Rosberg, yeah. He got it back in 2017 though, didn't he? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So there's your top three. Let's talk then about Lando Norris. He had a great day. After the red flag and the restart as well, put on the soft tyres. Both him and Ricciardo doing, 36 laps? I'm looking at the other monitor.
It really does show how McLaren know what they're doing this year.
Yeah.
They may have lost it for a few years ago. So right now, they're just they're on top mark. I've noticed that ever since Lando joined them.
We are live. If you want to get in touch, use the YouTube chat below and send us a question. We're just going to analyse the race and go through everything bit by bit as well. You were watching back at race control and came in during the red flag. Let's talk about the start. It rained heavily when we were commentating on MotoGP. It rained heavily before the start of the race as well. Did you think it was safe enough to do a 5 lights?
No.
Would you have done a safety car?
Yeah.
Like on the restart, yeah. Going forward as well, looking at it, Verstappen got a perfect start. Started third on the grid. Perez and Hamilton sort of bogged down a little bit, but Hamilton immediately was compromised, and Verstappen just launched up the inside down towards Tamburello and got the lead.
Ooh, a 4. I'm going first.
And then, of course, Hamilton tried to stick it on around the outside and jumped over the curbs and damaged part of his wing.
Yeah. I said to myself when I was watching that, so that's 2 sports I've seen someone get in today.
Yeah, both having some aero jumps over. Hamilton not happy.
Weird thing is, in MotoGP, I was actually thinking, I wonder if we'll see any air at
Imola, yeah, we did.
And yeah.
And then, of course, we had the spin for the Williams and Nicolas Latifi down at Aqua Minerari, the Aqua Corner, quite aptly named. And he came back on the track. And in fairness, he did sort of squeeze Mazepin, but Mazepin should have backed out of it. But Mazepin making contact with Latifi, and Latifi sent hard into the concrete wall.
Yeah, it was both of their faults there.
Yeah, bringing out the safety car. But again, Mazepin caught up in a first lap accident. That's not great.
I'm pretty sure that's just going to be like a traditional thing.
Seems to be, yeah. Going forward as well, the safety car came out 6 laps later. The race restarted. It was a good, clean restart. Yuki Tsunoda having a little bit of a spin after the red flag. Kimi Raikkonen having some spins. But also, I want to point out as well, it wasn't until about lap 34 that everything kicked off. That's when the red flag came out. Hamilton went up the inside to pass George Russell to lap him, but got it a bit wrong at Tosa and ended up in the gravel trap, damaging the same side of the wing he damaged on lap 1, and now it was hanging off. Managed to reverse it back onto the track. I thought he'd get a penalty for that because you're not allowed to reverse onto the racetrack, but the stewards deemed he was in a position. But
yeah, to be honest, there was no actual way for him to get out of that because he did try for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, but he was just so stuck at a corner, wasn't he? He couldn't do anything. Yeah.
I was watching him out just like, is he going to get out? Is he not?
Yeah, it was close. It was close comfort. So he managed to get out, continued back on to the pit lane, and then luck would have it, well, not really luck, bad news, but luck for him. Russell and Bottas had a massive contact, debris all over the track. That triggered, first of all, the safety car, but I knew it first of all. Ian Birch knew it first of all. You knew it as well. I think everybody watching as well knew it. It would have to be a red flag. And just as you walked into the commentary box to talk about the accident in a punditry role, the red flag came out and the race was stopped.
Yeah, I mean, have you noticed something?
What?
Me yet again in a race I'm not supposed to be in.
Is your mic working?
Yeah, I just got it far away from me.
Yeah, go on.
I suddenly walk into the box, red flag.
Yeah, I've noticed that a little bit. The fact that we have a red flag in a race you're not supposed to be in. But it was a pleasure having you along. It's nice to have you here on the YouTube chat as well. Actually, I've just noticed as well that it says the Bahrain Grand Prix top 3 on the chroma key. Well, that's our graphic department's just working out as well. But anyway, we've had enough of the top 3. Let's take a look then, if we can. We're on the wrong screen. I want to see the graphics and the full race results. There you go. Megan, you have to come this way a little bit because we've got graphics on the screen. There's the full race results then. 3 retirements in the end. Latifi, Russell and Bottas. I know Vettel retired in the last lap, but that doesn't count. But
yeah, basically, he's finished.
It was a bad day though, wasn't it, for Aston Martin?
Bad day for everyone.
Yeah, it was. I'm just going to see if I can do something with your mic, actually. Cause
how about I hold it here?
That works. That's worked.
Normally.
Yeah. But the red flag sort of benefited them. They were able to repair some of their brake failures, but it just caught up with Vettel at the end.
I mean, it was bound to. I mean, there was a fire. I mean, who's his teammate against Stroll?
Stroll, yeah. He had a fire too.
Yeah, he had a fire too. And where did he come?
Stroll finished 7th. He managed to finish the race.
Yeah, but was his as big as the fire?
Yeah, he didn't have a great run either. He came into the pit with burnt brakes. But yeah, as you can see, he's 7th on the monitor. There's the full classifications and the points scored in this race. So we'll go through them one by one. And actually, Megan, I think the biggest talking point coming into this one as well was how well McLaren did. Lando Norris getting a podium, yes. But look at Ferrari, 4th and 5th at their home circuit. That's a big improvement to where we saw them last year.
It is a big improvement. I mean, last year I thought, is this the end?
Is this the end of them? Yeah.
Yeah, so come to Italy, perfectly fine.
So let's go through the race results, and Megan, feel free to chip in with any comments you say as I say it. The race results then for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Max Verstappen taking victory and making it 1-1 in 2021 with him and Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton is 2nd, Lando Norris 3rd. Charles Leclerc finishing an impressive 4th. Carlos Sainz 5th. Daniel Ricciardo in P6. Lance Stroll 7th, Pierre Gasly 8th, Kimi Raikkonen 9th, and Esteban Ocon getting a point in 10th place. But it was 0.857 to the line to Fernando Alonso getting his first points back in Formula 1. He finishes down in 11th.
Yay.
Yeah, no, you're upset about that. He just finished 11th, outside the points. Then we get Sergio Perez, his 12th. Yuki Tsunoda, 13th. He was served with a 5-second time penalty post-race as well for that contact that he had with an unsafe, with going over the track as well and spinning off at the restart.
He wouldn't change positions. So.
No, he wouldn't. Then we get Giovinazzi, 14th. Vettel officially classified in 15th place, but was out of the race because 2 laps down we saw Mick Schumacher, 16th, and Nikita Mazepin, 17th, out of the race. Officially, Valtteri Bottas, George Russell, and Nicholas Latifi. There's the race results for this race. Megs, then coming across, we've got a couple of minutes left in this forum-type show that we do live just to wrap up the weekend. Going into this then, Hamilton leads the championship 44 points. Verstappen is on 43 points. It's game on at Portugal. Who do you see eventually taking the lead? Who's going to be the first one to break away in this championship?
I think... I don't know why, though I have a sneaking suspicion Verstappen.
Verstappen to sneak away? Really? That's a surprise. Arguably, they've got the best car. Arguably, they do indeed have the best car.
I just have a bad feeling about Portugal for some reason, that it's not going to be a very good race for anyone.
Well, we saw MotoGP's race at Portugal, the same track today. It's a roller coaster.
It's a very thin track.
Yeah, we saw last time out when we raced there as well. McLaren took the lead of the race. Wrap up then, the red flag, the restart. I figured it out after we looked at Twitter. The reason why we didn't have a normal 5-light procedure on the restart like we saw last year, the only difference we didn't have it here today was the fact that the track was actually wet at the odd side of the grid, and on the even numbered side of the grid it was dry. So it would have been a big advantage to those starting first, third, 5th, 7th, etc., and those starting 2, 4, 6, 8 would have had wheels spinning left and right. So Michael Masi, the race director, decided that it was just going to be easier to send the cars off on a rolling start. But that didn't help because Verstappen, arguably his one mistake of the race, he lost it coming out of Ravazza and on the restart.
Why did he go on the grass?
I don't know. He just lost it. Cooked up the rears as well and lost it.
I heard someone say, I can't remember who said it, though, just like he was very lucky.
He was. And Charles Leclerc, arguably, I would have said overtake him. But as Ian Birch pointed out, the reason he didn't, it was a race start.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, couldn't.
He would get a penalty if he did.
Yeah, he couldn't do it. It wasn't like a safety car restart where you could do that. It was like a 5 red lights procedure, lights out, go. They were just waiting for a green flag, so they couldn't overtake. So wise knowledge of the rules there from Charles Leclerc, I thought. So we'll quickly go through the Drivers' Championship then. We'll keep the results on the screen. So Lewis Hamilton, as I said, now leads on 44 points to Max Verstappen, a point back on 43. Them two are breaking away in the championship hunt already. Lando Norris finishes third in this race. He's third in the championship on 27 points. He's 7 points clear to Charles Leclerc, who's 4th on 20. Valtteri Bottas remains on 16. Carlos Sainz is now 6th on 14. So Ferrari finally on the second page, on the first page, not the second page like last year. Danny Ricciardo is on 14 points, the same as Sainz. Sergio Perez is on 10. Lance Stroll 7. Pierre Gasly 4. 2 points to Kimi Räikkönen, his first points of the weekend for finishing 9th here today. Yuki Tsunoda is still on 2 after his points in Bahrain. Esteban Ocon on 1. And no points for Alonso, Giovinazzi, Russell, Vettel, Schumacher, Mazepin, or Latifi as well. And still no points for Alonso, Megan. Do you think he'll get them in Portugal when you're not actually doing anything? Or you might be the penalty
Hopefully, maybe it can be a birthday treat.
That would be nice. Well, it's my birthday on Wednesday, and I don't think I got a treat of this great race. And your birthday's on qualifying.
You got a red flag. I should have to have Alonso getting a point.
Yeah, fair point.
The least I'll take is him not crashing out.
Fair point. And your birthday's on the Friday, so that's practice, yeah. In terms of the Constructors' Championship, Mercedes leads that Constructors' battle by 7 points now to Red Bull. 60 points to Mercedes, Red Bull on 53. McLaren have 41 points. They're securing third. Ferrari, though, sneaking back up. They're 4th on 34. Aston Martin, there's a big gap there. 7 points to Aston Martin. AlphaTauri has 6. Alfa Romeo 2 and Alpine have 1. No points on the board yet for Williams or Haas. There's a question there, Megan, is the points were on the table today for George Russell. Despite that accident, will they come at any point this season for Williams?
Yeah, I think they will. I mean, George is doing really well. I think this accident was the only reason he didn't get points today.
Yeah.
I mean, he has the pace, and so does Latifi, and yet they both crashed out.
Going further on, will we ever see Haas getting points? I doubtful this season because their car is just terrible.
Yeah, they're not very good this season. So maybe if there's like a horrible weather one day and it's just everyone's just crashing out and somehow they manage to not. And
We saw
there's only 10 cars left.
And of course, if those of you who are a fan of Nikita Mazepin, if you are out there, or if you're more of a fan of him, where it's called Nikita Mazepin, you'll be delighted to know that Mazepin had another off on the last lap of the race. He spun at Acqua Minerari again and went off the track. That has a handle for him. And that's his 4th spin of the weekend, and he's been in trouble in nearly every single session.
Yeah, I have a perfect song for him.
Yes, spin me right round.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Also, we noticed this yesterday in the qualifying show. I noticed when Yuki Tsunoda crashed and the red flag came out. I said, we've had a red flag in every single session so far this weekend. We had 0 red flags in Bahrain, not in any session. In Imola, free practice 1, 2 red flags. FP3, a red flag. FP2, sorry, a red flag. FP3, red flag. Qualifying red flag, and the race had a red flag. So every single session this weekend got interrupted.
This is definitely cursed.
Yeah, Imola's cursed. And personally, I loved it. This was a great race.
Yeah, I don't know why. I actually do enjoy Imola, even though it's cursed.
It was a great race in a great country here at Italy, and the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix hopefully will be back on the calendar, but it's only here because of COVID. So, moving on here on YouTube, next weekend we have coverage of the Formula E races from the Valencia track, the Circuit Ricardo Tormo. They're making their debut on a permanent circuit due to COVID, the first ever Spanish Formula E race as well. And 2 weeks' time, we're back with MotoGP and for their Spanish Grand Prix, and then also for Formula One at the Portimao circuit for the Portuguese Grand Prix. That should be a good one.
It will.
So, Megan, I asked you this at the end of the main show of Formula One. Sum up this weekend for me in a couple of words.
Very, very dramatic.
Here's your tip for the title: Verstappen or Hamilton. Come on, we're 2 races in. They've both won 1. The game is on.
I think Verstappen's got the edge for me.
Oh, Verstappen's got the edge.
Yeah, because Hamilton, unknowingly in Bahrain, got 4 seconds more because he kept cutting turn 4, which Mercedes apparently didn't know.
Indeed, they didn't. Right, that's it. All done. All wrapped up live here on YouTube for our first forum live. The other Bahrain, we did do a race review, but it was very quick and just got pushed out. This was our first live race review, and I enjoyed it a lot. Ted's doing his notebook. We've done our wrap-up. If Ted can have Ted's notebook, I think I can have Joshua's journal. I think I'll nick that as well.
Ooh, that's good.
So, that's it. We're all done. All wrapped up here from Emilia-Romagna. We'll be back for Formula One in 2 weeks' time, but stick around here on YouTube because we will have coverage of Formula E next weekend as well. It's all go with the seasons on, but we leave Emilia-Romagna with the championship hunt firmly on. The gap between Verstappen and Hamilton is just 1 point. They've both won a race. My thanks to Ian Birch, my thanks to Megan Birch, and my thanks to all of you at home for watching. We can't wait. 2021 has still got 21 races to go. Unbelievable. The title fight is on. We'll see you in Portugal. Bye for now.